Hello, 10cc fans everywhere. My name's Keith, and I'd just like to do some reviews of the 10cc albums from the very first one to the most recent, and just tell you what I thought of them. I've done a disclaimer which you can read on YouTube, and I'll just say the disclaimer. Basically, although I am a big 10cc fan, this is really a critical analysis of the band's output. It's not a personal thing, it's more a critical analysis. So, whilst I will give my personal thoughts, I'm looking at the album from a critical side because I do demand excellence from the artists that I follow. I'm very, very rarely let down by 10cc. So if you're the kind of fan that gets upset by any kind of criticism, this probably isn't for you. And by the same token, if you're the kind of fan that thinks everything that your artist has done is sacrosanct and untouchable, and especially criticism coming from a fan themselves is wrong, then again, I think this isn't really for you. So let's start off with the first 10cc album. I was a 10cc fan from day one when they released Donna. I remember listening to it in the schoolyard and with somebody had it on the radio at the time where they used to do the charts on a Tuesday afternoon, and became a great favourite for everyone. All my friends in school and all my friends outside of school, all the people my age, thought that Donna was a great record, and we loved it. We loved watching them on Top of the Pops. And that was that. After about 5 or 6 weeks of being in the top 10, it kind of faded out. And then they released a single called Johnny Don't Do It. Now, there's been rumours that this was not promoted by the BBC, but I remember listening to Johnny Don't Do It on Radio 1. And I remember saying to my brother, that's 10cc, they did Donna. And it was obviously something done with the same sort of formula as Donna. It's not unrare for artists, certainly at that time, if they had a hit with their first hit, that their follow-up single would be the same sort of shape and the same sort of feel as it. Not all the time, but most times they try to do something more or less the same. So they did it. It might have even been a superior track to Donna, I don't know, but it was a good song, it was a good single, but it didn't sell. And I think most of us just thought, well, that's the last we'll hear of 10cc. They're a novelty band, and that's probably the end of it for 10cc. And then they released Rubber Bullets, which was just an absolutely fantastic single. And to this day, I still maintain that's one of the best singles to come out of the 70s. Just such a clever song with so many changes of tempo. And like all their best work, very, very tongue-in-cheek. We've all got balls and brains, but some's got balls and chains, or it's the other way around, sorry. So they had that, and that was totally unexpected because it was nothing like what had come before. And we all thought, well, 10cc have obviously arrived. I got the first 10cc album. I was about 10 or 11 at the time. Well, my brother got it. I think he not so much bought it, but he relieved the local record shop of its stock. So we had it, I think we had it on cassette, I can't remember, and I absolutely fell in love with that first record. Remember, it came with a background of what we now call glam rock. We didn't call it glam rock at the time. So the charts were full of all sort of glitter and the Osmonds and, and basically rollers and all that kind of thing, and glittery stuff and long lapels with mud and Slade and Sweet and T-Rex. And don't get me wrong, they were brilliant, but this was something very, very different. This was music. This was a band presenting themselves as songwriters and musicians of excellent standard. It was totally different from anything we'd ever heard before. Very poised, extremely confident. And 10cc was saying on this album, look, we haven't got a fashion statement to make. We haven't got a political statement to make. We haven't got a prominent front man like Brian Connolly or Noddy Holder or Mark Bolan. We're here for the music, journey with us. And that first album, I think, is a cracking album. And I think it's the best 10cc album they ever did. So they set off a really high standard. I know not everyone will agree with me there. I can't think of a weak track on that album. It's absolutely brilliant. Then they released the single Dean and I. That maybe was even better than Rubber Bullets. One of the most beautiful and fantastic creations, an absolutely brilliant single, again with so many imaginative changes, and brilliantly sang with Lol Cream. And the album then was, again, pretty unstoppable. Absolutely fantastic album. Great songs like Ships Don't Disappear, Headline Hustler. Great songs like the Hospital Song and Sand in Your Face, and then polished off by an absolutely stunning ballad with beautiful harmonics on it called Fresh Air from Mama. And that is just one of the most perfect albums I've ever heard. So I think it was the best album they did, which is not to say by any manner of means that everything they did after that was inferior, because it wasn't. But they set a very high standard on that first album. So to finish off then, I'm trying to do this from memory because I'm not a great one for dates or having to double check. So from memory, let me grade each song and then grade the album. What was the first song? Johnny Don't Do It, I'll give 7 out of 10. Sand in My Face, 8 out of 10. Donna, 9 out of 10. Dean and I, 10 out of 10. Headline Hustler, 8 out of 10. Speed Kills, 8 out of 10. Rubber Bullets, 10 out of 10. The Hospital Song, 9 out of 10. Ships Don't Disappear, 8 out of 10. And Fresh Air for Mama, 10 out of 10. At that time, I don't think there was a massive difference between what was. I know they changed the songwriting, sometimes they wrote in triplets or somebody added or finished off another song. But really, I don't think there was a massive difference then in a Goldman Stewart and a Cream Godly song or a Godly Cream song. I think they were pretty much, any of those songs could have been written by anyone. It was only in later years that there seemed to be a separation on the kind of material that either songwriting partnership was right in. But as an overall grade, I would give that album, and I'm not ashamed to say this, 10 out of 10. I think it was pretty much a perfect album. And what a great start for 10cc fans. What a journey that we're still on.